Sami Yalavac.
Yes.
Thank you ever so much for joining us today. And firstly, I'd like to congratulate you for winning CIO of the Year
Thank you very much, Ali.
2022.
Thank you.
It's a great achievement.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe I think again, I'm ignorant in this, but you're possibly the first Muslim to win it.
Alhamdulillah. Yes,
First
I believe
Turkish
so. I
as
believe
well.
So,
So it's a great achievement. It's an absolute privilege having you here. I'm sure you
Thank
have a lot of things to share with us. But I usually have an icebreaker question, and my
Sure.
icebreaker question for you is: did some research for you. I've been following you for a while, and something that really sticks out for me, and something that really doesn't really happen in this day and age, is that you've been at Bupa for 17 years, right?
It has been, yes.
So you've been extremely loyal to Bupa. Right? It's hard to find such loyal people in companies now, right? People in companies for a couple of years and then they vanish. So how important is loyalty to you when it comes to business and personal life?
Sure. Thank you for the question. Look, maybe I was just lazy to look at job or something else.
It's a good way to look at it.
But you're right. I'm very, very passionate on the health side.
Yeah.
And Bupa is an amazing organization. Not many people knows, but it has been established as a non-profit organization in 1947 to help people who cannot afford health needs after the Second World War. So, some good people get together, establish it, and we never have any shareholders, any owners. So all the money earned either goes to donations to help other people, like health research or growing business to reach out more people. So I always felt I'm delivering my life purpose through Bupa, making a positive difference in people's life. This is why I stick there. But also, my journey was amazing in Bupa. I never ever stay in the same role long time.
You had
Almost
a few roles
every
there.
6 months, a year, 2 years, I always get a promotion or a different opportunity. So I always felt like I'm doing something completely new now. And Bupa also grow. Like when I joined, it was less than 2,000 people. Now we are more than 22,000 people only in this region.
Wow.
Globally around 90,000. So this is why I was there such a long time.
That's impressive. You've seen a massive rise of Bupa in the 17 years. But let's put Bupa on hold for now, and a lot of
Sure.
things on hold for now. We want to understand who Sami is. You have a good following on LinkedIn. You are very, very respected in your industry, hence why you won the award. But again, we want you to explain who Sami is. You came from Turkey, so explain that to us. Which part of Turkey are you from? Your upbringing.
Sure.
What did you want to become? And I'm sure your followers will appreciate it. So I understand you even more from the roots.
Sure. Look, I'm just an ordinary guy, Turkish, as you said. I born in a young family. My father was in army, mother was a teacher. And they are originally from Kilis, which is just 3 kilometers to Syrian border. But because of their jobs, every 2 years we were moving. So we were in a very far cities. In Edirne, when I was 4, unfortunately, there was an accident and we lost my father in that accident. And life was difficult because he was only 26. My mother was young as well. After a couple of years, the family remarried my mother. So we moved to Mersin. This is where I grew up, a southern town in Turkey, opposite to Cyprus. And my stepfather was a good man, but wasn't a very social man. So I never have a father-son relationship in terms of getting that support, appreciation. It was always the other way around, criticism, etc. And also, he attempted doing business and unfortunately, miserably failed and bankrupt a couple of times. So my childhood was like very, very tough. At the same time, my mother going through significant health challenges. I wasn't sure she will make it. And the home wasn't a happy environment. So that, I think those years made me who I am. So rather than picking the victim and upset in that house, I went out and created my own worlds, joining sport clubs, drama clubs, creating my own clubs, coaching teams, helping others. And I was very, very busy all my life doing multiple things, which helped me to be a better leader as well in terms of interacting with people, influencing them, leading them, getting results, convincing them, like as a young child, getting young kids to be part of a drama club or a sport club and them to get the discipline coming to exercise is not easy. Yeah. But this is how you learn to be a leader, to influencing others and inspiring people. So obviously those years Turkey was tough. If you don't have a good education or if you are not rich from family, which I wasn't, life will be difficult. So in my last year, I studied very hard. I got a very top score, so I could go anywhere. I picked engineering because I was lazy to do medicine or law kind of things. We have to study a lot. Whereas engineering, if you're smart enough and if you study enough, you can pass.
Engineering, what the?
Computer engineering.
Computer engineering.
So it was a double degree. It's both hardware, software, robotics kind of engineering. But my passion was always about people, customers. So regardless of how many times I start technical roles, I end up very quickly on customer-facing, people leadership roles.
Yeah.
But as a young engineer, I was also frustrated. Things are not perfect, not going well. So I end up reading a lot on quality, how companies or countries are doing better than others. And I did a postgraduate on quality management, work a couple of years on those areas. And I have some really good roles in good companies, exec roles in like banking, consultancy, manufacturing, worldwide companies like Daimler, Chrysler. But there was an economical crisis in Turkey at around 2000.
Yeah.
And that was the time I decided maybe time for a change and decided to come to Australia. So this is my Turkey part. You want me to keep going?
Why Australia?
Look, at that time, we looked at options. Australia was offering a permanent residency directly and also offering citizenship in 2 years' time. And there is a big Turkish community in Australia. So it was very, very attractive and the weather is good. Whereas Canada was cold, US was wild and
Germany?
didn't offer me permanent residency.
Not Germany? A lot of Turks go to Germany as
It's
well.
funny
Yeah.
you asked that because Daimler Chrysler offered me, look, if you want to go overseas, go Germany, but stay with us. But my wife grew up in Germany, and actually her first language is German, and she didn't want to go to Germany because the difference between Germany and Australia, in Australia, you feel like home.
Yeah.
It's multicultural, everyone kind of embrace you, and we love this place as our choice. Whereas in Germany, even nobody do anything wrong to you, you know that that's a country belongs to Germans and you are not a German.
So you never fit in.
never feel part
Yeah.
of the society community. You always feel you are secondary. Whereas in Australia, yes, there might be some people try to make you feeling this way, but overall that's not the case.
Yeah.
So we are very happy with our choice.
So your father passed away when you were young.
Yes.
Allah Rahmatullah. Now, the thing is, when someone as that figure passes away, what was the driving force for you? What made you motivated? What kept you going? Because the father's there, your stepfather was, it was, like you said, was very antisocial. So
Yeah.
how'd you pick yourself and be like, I'm gonna take this family and we're gonna do great things. I'm gonna motivate myself and keep doing great things.
Yeah, look, I think it's a gift and strength given by Allah Ta'ala to
Yeah.
me, which I'm really grateful, rather than it's me. I always pick to be happy because I believe happiness is a choice. You can easily pull back down being a victim mentality. This is bad, and complaining things and upsetting yourself, and really not anyone getting any benefit out of that. And you influence even negatively around you. You can complain about your work environment, your boss, anything. You can find reasons easily. Versus you can say, actually, what can I do to change it? How can I be happy? How can I use that situation as an opportunity to learn and do better? And this is how I did all these years. So maybe my very unhappy household, it looks bad at that time. Maybe that was my luck in life to think differently and act differently, because those learnings and those years still carrying me what I'm doing today. All the success, all the outcomes. And this is what I like recommend my anyone listening really this podcast.
Yeah.
Just be positive. Like just be positive. See these things facing you as an opportunity. It's given to you because you can handle it, not other people. And in our belief, there is nothing bad or good. It's just how you respond.
Exactly.
That will be bad or good.
Yeah.
If you respond well, nothing is bad, and you're never a loser.
Yeah.
So this is how I believe.
100% positivity. Also surrounding yourself with positive people.
Absolutely.
That's another big thing.
It's another choice, isn't
yeah,
it?
100%. You could surround yourself with negative people, all of a sudden your brain
And
is
they
just
will
being
take you
negative.
down.
So you came to Australia,
Yes.
right? I'm assuming in the northern suburbs somewhere where the Turks are.
Yes. I end up, obviously, we want to be close to the Turkish community, our food and
Yeah.
schools for kids, etc. But it was funny. Like when I was coming here first time, I thought I'm really brave. I'm coming to Australia, change the world, etc. But when I landed here, I have no idea what people talking about. I couldn't understand that.
You know English?
Look, I knew some English, but I just
you didn't know
realized
Australian English. Australian English is a different English altogether.
Yes,
It's very
yes.
different.
And also like speaking with native speakers is different.
Yeah.
So I feel more like an idiot. And I start questioning like, how come I did this mistake with my country and my job, etc. And interestingly, I got a job offer from Turkey. The week 2, I arrived in Australia. It was a CEO role in a really large organization, large technology organization serving the biggest banks in Turkey. So it was like a dream job for many people. Anyway, I rejected upfront.
They wanted you to go to Turkey.
Yeah,
Right.
because of it was hard enough coming here.
Yeah.
And I started looking for jobs. So obviously, I was away from technology as a technical person because of the exec roles and technology moved away. I didn't also know well technology. So I was in a really vulnerable position. Anyway, I was lucky to get an entry-level job in a consultancy organization. I started week 1. And again, the same struggle. Couldn't understand people, struggled doing my tasks. And I seriously think, actually once I walked through my manager's room just to apologize and leave. And I was thinking, probably I can drive a cab or work in construction. But then I thought all these difficult years I have and how my mother, through these financial difficulties, doing extra hours to pay my tuitions and education, etc., and all my efforts, I said, they haven't done this for you to give up so easily. You should really work hard. You shouldn't give up that easily. You are not the only migrant in this country, and you have to achieve it. So every night I was going to home, dealing with family and their kind of issues, challenges, helping them, because it was tough coming to a new country. And then I was studying new technology so that I can do my job next day. And everyone going to the bed, then I start studying English so I can understand people as well. So little sleep for a while, lots of work, and things start working. Actually, what happened, it was the customer was treasury and finance. And my manager called me after 5-6 months. They said, this project finished, we are going. One person will stay here to support treasury, and you are the one staying. And I said, why? I'm the most junior guy in the team, struggling to interact with people, exactly. Yes, but they want you. I said, oh, really? Why? They said, because they said you are the only one listening them and coming with some proactive ideas. They feel like you really care about them, but they don't see the same other, so they want you to stay. So, all right, that's good. So I stayed there. And after a couple of months, they called me because they need a leader to run their project on Department of Human Services. And this is how I get my first leadership position. And then things start working for me. Same thing happened in Bupa. Started as an entry-level role as a developer. But I was always maybe naively brave, putting my hands to do things I never done. I have even no idea how to do, but put my hand to do things. And things work out, and I have a good journey with Bupa in Australia.
That's impressive.
It is. There are so many lessons there to unpack. I think your willingness to be able to take a step back, to take a step forward, that's amazing as well. A lot of people don't see that. They say, look, you know what, I'm of a management caliber, I can only take management jobs. You said, no, if I have to go one step back to springboard to a bigger, to higher ambitions, I don't mind doing that.
Absolutely.
And that takes a lot of guts to do that.
It is. And same thing, isn't it? If you want to jump further, you have to get a couple of steps back first.
Yeah,
absolutely. You're right.
That's amazing. You mentioned about schooling and kids and whatnot. Something that I'm pretty interested in is these days, not these days, but in the past, you used to see a lot of parents who used to focus on making their kids bilingual or trilingual, teaching them 2 languages, 3 languages, people of an Italian heritage or Turkish heritage or subcontinent heritage, whatever it is, they teach their kids a few languages. These days, parents are saying that instead of learning more languages, how about we teach our kids coding as a language? Would you advise that?
Look, at the right age, I do. Because if you do too early and the kids struggle, they will hate it. And probably they will never return back. So timing is always important. What you are teaching at what stage.
What's ideal timing according to you?
Look, most of I would say coding requires logic. Coding requires some kind of linguistics. Probably I would say the secondary years is is the earliest. So probably the last couple of years of the secondary school is the earliest you
14,
can do
15,
it.
16,
Yeah,
around
yeah.
there. Okay.
Whereas the technology is changing. In the past, you only write code like as if you are writing a letter. Nowadays, there are tools. It's more drag and drop. And even a 2 years old can do it.
Yeah.
So this will change. But we are not there yet. So as the time passes, even a very like a young age kids or elderly people can start developing their logic and things. So it will naturally be happening. I think it will be part of our life anyways for anyone. But I wouldn't recommend doing it too early and pushing people, but let them to find where they are, like, where's their passion to
Yeah,
do.
because you're seeing it a lot these days. You know, for example, school holidays start, and all of a sudden, parents like myself, I've got young kids.
Yes.
We receive all these notifications saying, "Look, you know what? There is a coding class during the holidays, 2 weeks crash course, this and
Yep,
that."
yep,
And we
yep.
think about it. You say, "Look, you know what? What's the point in learning 3 or 4 languages when the language of the world now is either English or coding? Really,
Yep,
that's
yep.
what everyone's going into these
It
days."
is.
So it's an interesting perspective.
And also, like if you think about working in IT, coding is just one small piece of
Yeah.
it. Maybe it's the most important thing because everything is now relying on coding. Even the cars today, everything running on a code. However, there are so many variety. As long as someone able to learn, which is the most important thing, because what you know today might not be relevant in 2-3 years time. Things changing so fastly. It's more about, do I have the adaptability to learn new things? And can I also implement it? There is a research actually done by Gartner, Corporate Executive Board, and they review hundreds of projects and thousands of IT departments to identify why this project's failing. Where is the gap here? Like all these smart people, great education, big corporates still failing on these projects. What's the reason? And they identify 12 key skill set gap. Guess what? Not one single of them are technical skills. It's all about the soft skills. How to understand business, how to communicate, how to influence, how to collaborate. All these things actually the ones bringing the success. So regardless of you are in finance industry, technology, manufacturing, doesn't matter. Same things comes together because you're no longer a Superman by yourself doing things. It's all the ability of how to interact others, how to collaborate others, individual level, department level, company by company, even country by country. The organizations and individuals able to do it, get their teams able to work with others or within themselves are the winners. So it's not really the domain expert. Of course, you have to know your domain. That's given as a foundational requirement, but it's more about what else you will put on it to be successful.
Do you see yourself more as a leader or a tech guy?
Look, I was never able to be a good technology person in terms of my interests. I tested myself and I see that I can do it actually.
Yeah.
I proved multiple times, even coming to Australia, learning things because you have to do your job to get your salary and survive. But it wasn't my passion at all. My passion was always, what's the game here? What are we trying to achieve here? Who is the customer? How I can deliver value for them? That's where my mind is. And those things naturally put you on the leadership roles because you have to lead those conversations with your customers, stakeholders. I always find myself as a leader more than a technology person.
Yeah, because speaking of leadership, you called Reza 1 hour before the podcast saying that you're going to be 10 minutes late,
Yes.
right? And that was extremely impressive. The reason being is because people like Reza, the modern age people right now, what they do is they're late and then they give you a call saying, I'm going to run late. You're already late, right? So the etiquette that you showed is impeccable. So my question here is, how important is leading from the front as a leader? Because that to me, Reza told me, he's like, he gave me a call 1 hour before the podcast to tell me he's running 10 minutes late, which I personally haven't seen in 8 years of working here. So how important is leading from the front as a leader?
Look, it is like in my mind when I was like giving this call, it's a simple respect, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not your time is important. Everyone's time is important. If people ready for you, waiting for you, of course you have to let. Like, what's the alternative? Not doing is extremely unrespectful. This is how I think.
Yeah.
And I think leadership is the same thing. It's all about care. Like, do you really care about this company, about its customers, about its people, the society you are in? And my philosophy is, regardless of your role, you do something to contribute to society. And it doesn't matter you are the top guy or at the bottom level. You are part of that chain of service. and think about everything is perfect. Trains working perfectly well, your travel agents organize everything smoothly, your banking is doing what they suppose exactly. How brilliant is the life will be if everyone cares and doing their best in terms of delivering versus people not doing the best things, best practices, and you're really frustrated because your plumber didn't do the right thing, you have to call back again, etc. So this is my philosophy.
Does it come to upbringing though?
Look, maybe.
Because sometimes when someone doesn't have that respect or etiquette, it's hard to teach them that. Because
Sure.
for years they've never followed that. So would you give credit to your upbringing?
Look, I really don't know. Maybe, but I think it's also like reflecting, but it's also my religion. What
Yeah.
drives my behaviors. Interesting, I didn't grow up in a religious family. Like Turkey was a secular country on those years. Actually, really promote the secularity, especially my father in army, mother like teaching, the educated people really brainwashed to be away from religion. So I grew up at a house, no one is praying, no one is reading Quran, and I haven't seen anything. When I go to uni, I was finding my way and my purpose. I was reading like communism, other beliefs, reincarnation, everything. And as I read Islam, it more resonated with me. Then I start practicing. And when I read Rasulullah's life from end to end, I see that our religion is not just do this, don't do this. It's a philosophy, actually. It's a mindset.
Yeah.
And when you look at Rasulullah, it's all about caring the humanity. And he has a purpose of protecting everyone from hell and bring the best outcomes for humanity in this world as well as hereafter. So that was his vision. It's all about caring. It's all about respect. Like look at how he like treating others.
Yeah.
Or look at Yusuf alayhi salam. When he was in the prison and he wanna go out and wanted to be the treasurer, his objective wasn't to be a minister actually. He has a purpose of protecting people from a coming drought so that people will not be suffering. So it's all about caring others, respecting others, trying to do your best, and then you will get the same respect and you will get the same value, you will get the same satisfaction. You'll go to bed in peace. And I think even you are selfish, you still have to care because you will be the best beneficiary of those outcomes.
Yeah, fair enough. Is that how you would define leadership? So if somebody asks you, Sami, from your perspective, you've had many leadership roles, what's your textbook definition of leadership?
Sure.
How would you put that?
Let me re-articulate it, how I describe it. In my book, leadership is not a position. No one can appoint you as a leader. No one give you a position of you are a leader. People can give you a managerial responsibility, a position, a title, but no one can make you a leader. Only you yourself make you a leader based on your thinking and based on your actions. And for me, leadership is seeing the opportunity, what's possible, creating a vision around it, motivating people around you to get that vision, and working hard towards that without giving up. Your resilience, motivating people, hard work, etc., and eventually getting those results. But more importantly, your effort. Because we are not responsible from the outcomes. Outcomes might be impacted by multiple things, but what you are doing about that position, that's leadership for me. Being responsible, caring, and working towards that, and having a purpose in life or whatever you do.
That's interesting. I think a big part of leadership and management and whatnot is around change management. Now, in environments, particularly around technology, there's a big push towards innovation. Everyone says, "Oh, we need to be more innovative." But in a corporate environment, when you're innovative, essentially you are driving change.
Yes.
But people around us, generally as human beings, we are change adverse. So we resist change. So it's almost paradoxical. What people ask for is innovation, and when they receive innovation, it's change. They don't like the change, so they push back.
Yes.
How do you as a leader manage, or as a manager, how do you manage that change?
Sure. I think there are two aspects of managing the change. One aspect is people understand the why we need to change. What is it for me? Most of the time, leaders put something that this will be brilliant for our customers or for our company, but they can answer the question, what's the benefit for that individual? Actually, most of the time, individuals worry, will I lose my job? Can I survive in the new setup? And I don't really understand how I will get benefit within this. And as they fear, they resist more because we don't naturally like the change. Even we all say We love change. We are open-minded. We are not. Human beings are not actually. Because we stick where we are. It's a risk moving from where you are. So that's one aspect. So as you define well why, and people believing that why, and think about the history, people doing things, even risking their lives because they genuinely believe that's a good thing to do. Saving their country or achieving something big. In protest, other things, people like jeopardizing their lives because they believe that change is necessary. There's a higher purpose doing that. That's one aspect. The second aspect is supporting people through the change. What is their role? What's expected from them? Do they really equipped to implement that change? Address their fears. Keep supporting them. Then they will be naturally with you. And this is what's failing in technology or innovation. While they engage Big Four like EY, PwC, get brilliant visions, strategies, they fail on the execution because they ignore those aspects. Did people get it? Do they understand their role? Do they equipped to implement their changes? And because of these things hasn't been done well or it hasn't been communicated well, like where we are now, what's next, are we okay? And people lost. And they lost their belief. It's just another management thing. They are doing for their own benefit, but not for me. And they disengage. So this is how I look to change. Either innovation or implementing a new CRM system, you name it. It's the same principles applies.
Sometimes when you bring too much innovation, the stability does
It
play around as well.
It is.
Right. So in the company, I take care of a lot of the technology side of things. And the more technology you bring, the more there's a learning curve to it. Things slow down until they learn. So how do you manage innovation and stability?
Sure.
Especially at Bupa, because you're a massive company of hundreds and thousands of people to deal with.
Yes.
How do you manage the stability there?
Sure. Look, I think stability can be managed through incremental improvements.
Right.
And that's the way to deliver innovation or any change in today's world. Because in the old world, you design a system, people spend months designing it, getting the requirements, and then you go to the implementation. Then when you go live, you realize that first the world moved on.
Yeah.
Your customers' expectation move, market dynamics change. And also you forgot some requirements. And it's very expensive to go back to design and change it. It's very slow, very clumsy, and introduce huge risks. As you do more and more, it's a huge risk. Whereas in today's world, you immediately see a need in the market. Okay, COVID came. People want to do, let's say in insurance, they want to claim everything online. They don't want to go retail store, etc. Do a small change, incremental change. Test it. Do they like it? What's not working? What's working? It's much easier to fix it. So in the second generation fix, you address it and add something else. And you always with market, with customers, listening to your employees, what they are going through. So this is the way you manage the risk. It's a non-stop improvement, but incremental. And when you do 10, 20 of them, you will see that, hang on a minute, we really transform this business and these services. Even each step was very small. Like even in the religion, what Rasulullah suggests, not like big things, the whole night praying, etc. Do something small, but regular. That's what's matter, because this is the power of the habit. Same thing, like when you want to change your habit on something, it's not like overnight leaving smoking, suddenly doing a brilliant exercise. Just start small so that you will stick. And as you do it, you'll get the courage to do more. And then it became a habit. And then step by step, you feel like, oh, this is my new life. Same for the organizations. Like innovation is a mindset, process, governance for the organizations. It's not like suddenly someone say, oh, I got a great idea, let's do it. It doesn't work like that anymore. It has to happening everywhere and every day. It might be how you do your meetings. It might be how you interact with your customers. It might be a new technology. And technology might not be even the source of innovation. It might be really anything. But as you do it incrementally in an open-minded way, people listen to each other, challenge each other, then it will almost like a habit, organization keep innovating. I did an MBA at Deakin Uni here to uplift my English. And one of the subjects was about innovation. And if I haven't learned anything, I learned just one thing. Some companies continuously innovate. And it's not accidental. It's not because they have the smartest people compared to others, but they have the right environment, right collaboration, right open-minded, people listening to each other, explore ideas openly, and collaborate well, and they continuously innovate. Versus other companies throw money to consultants, to technology itself, and they still scratch their head like, well, why we are not able to delivering? Because they didn't have the right mindset, right collaborative environment. We don't respect, we don't even listen, we don't have the inclusiveness, entertaining all the ideas, all the things. We always know better than others and kill those ideas because we want to show up.
Yeah.
Now I know better than you, even the leaders especially. Whereas the leadership is another aspect. It's not about you to know better than your people, but you to facilitate the discussion to get the best idea, not your idea. This is how innovations happens.
You touched on COVID. Now,
Yes.
COVID, a lot of companies got annihilated, but tech boomed during COVID. And you mentioned, bringing innovation incrementally and consistently and whatnot. But COVID didn't want that, right? Everyone started working from home. Everything had to be done there and there.
Yes.
Right? There was none of the increment. Within, Dale Andrews is like, everyone's working from home in 3 days' time. Go figure it out, right? There's none of that planning there. It's just you got 3 days or 2 days. What did Sami do at Bupa? Right? You had such small time to plan.
Yes.
So how did you manage to get hundreds and thousands of people to efficiently work at home?
Sure. I think two aspects. One, we already prepared well, and the underlying the infrastructure and technology was ready.
The foundation was there.
Bupa is already a multi-location business, so we're already working from multiple locations anyways. But everybody working from home is obviously a different story. We were able to do it because we have the right mindset. In technology, when I became the CIO, I created a vision with my team, and that vision has some components, and number one is delivering extraordinary customer outcomes, customer experiences, then driving the business growth, but also create an environment people enjoy and grow. So you don't ignore the people aspect. People put best of day because they enjoy, they learn being there. Everyone think about what's possible, how to grow this business, and everyone think about the customer. When you achieve that mindset, it brings a culture of collaborating, innovating, trying things, and no one fear to fail. If something doesn't work, you find another way, but you move on. And we had that culture. We have that environment. So when this crisis came, it was very easy to my team and the business colleagues together think about options, taking actions day by day, and change the direction based on their learnings, based on the changing needs. Because Bupa is very complex, like very different businesses and very different needs. So there's no like one solution you put and everyone use it. You have to innovate almost every day. How to address this problem, how to address that situation. Like a doctor works part-time, but he has to work in government versus here. It's not even working from home. Even more complex scenarios. But we were able to address them in a very flexible way, coming to this incremental thinking and incrementally innovating.
Yeah, it's interesting. In some corporate environments, many corporate environments, people usually say that, ideas go to two places and continually either stall or they die.
Yes.
Either they go to the IT department and they stall over there, or they go to the legal department, they stall over there. Why is it that sometimes, IT departments and companies get a bad reputation? My understanding is that they're not very good at taking people on a journey. It's almost like, the tech people are like, we're the experts, give it to us, leave it with us. It's a black box environment.
Yes.
Whatever happens over here stays over here. We will provide you with a solution.
Yes.
And there's really no sort of, let's take them on a journey. Let's explain to them what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it. Is that really why IT departments have a bad reputation, or what do you attribute that to?
I think you nail it. That's a very important aspect of it, what you just articulated. But the other aspect is, or the other extreme is, IT separate itself from business.
Yeah.
And everybody use this language, business and IT. Whereas what is business? Business consists of functions, and IT is one of the functions. And actually in today's world, it's one of the most important functions, because everything delivered through technology. And as the technology away from business, they have less understanding of the business problems, customers' pain points. So they can't even contribute the innovation, the solution, what needs to be done here. IT people understand technology, but if they don't understand business, they can't put relevant kind of offerings on the table. All they do is deliver best whatever the requirements came to them. But business also doesn't understand technology well, even they think or some understand well. So what happens, two different language or two different layers try to collaborate, but there's a big fence between them. So what happens, Business try to think everything themselves, throw the requirements other side of the fence. IT work independently in isolation without understanding what they are doing, what are the implications. Then they throw back here the product and say, hang on, it's not what I want, this doesn't work. And it's really bad. Whereas the new modern operating models are changing that. The new operating model is embedding technology in the business function. So the business colleagues and technology people working together. Remember the old technology structure. It's the BAs, architects, developers as a team. So this is the team of developers, this team of testers. Whereas in the modern world, you create business domain aligned teams. It's a capacity base. Let's say the customer services or claims department. You get number of BAs, developer, tester, architect, you name it, as well as the business people under one team. And that's the claims team. And the mission is bringing the best claiming experiences for the customers. So business and technology leaders equally accountable to deliver those results, and they innovate together in terms of what to do next and deliver rather than pointing at each other or blaming each other. It's a non-stop collaboration. And this is what I mean with this incremental delivery. Not a big bang in the agile delivery model, non-stop delivery model, but they work together. So that's the new model. And most organizations trying to go that model. Many of them suffers because the funding model doesn't support, because funding model is still gate by gate. You give me your requirements, you show me the benefits, then I'll fund you, etc. Whereas who knows when I deploy it, what will happen in the market? Market is very dynamic. Just allocate me the capacity, let's say 5 million this year for this department to invest in technology, and I find the best way of how to use that money. What's the next most important functionality or problem to solve, etc. This is a much more modern way of delivering technology, most efficient one, and inviting everyone to innovate. And people feel more valued, actually, rather than on the back room, waiting for the requirements, don't understand what's happening. They actually know what's the game here. Is it working? What has taken? So everyone felt valued because their ideas listen, and everyone's seeing the game. You are in the game, you're playing, and you look to scoreboard what's happening, and you look what the competition's over there, and you respond accordingly. So everyone in the game, rather than different layers. Because those layers, and how I defined when I became the CIO, like a triangle. In a triangle, there is a narrow top. That's how the traditional IT departments touch customer and business and understand. So very little touch points. Give me the requirements, here the results, release management, etc. Whereas as you go lower levels, there are many people doing stuff in that triangle, but they have no idea what's happening. And the request came like a Chinese whisper. And from the business perspective, it's like dropping a stone to sea. As the stone go deeper, you have no visibility. What's happening? Why is it taking that long? Why is that expensive? It's lots of frustrations. Whereas when you work together in a clean water, everybody knows what's happening, why, okay, how to solve this problem. It's not about blaming, it's about identifying what didn't work and what will do about it. That's the modern way of delivering technology. But still, as I said, because of the mindset is not there, and the governance and the funding model not follows, because just changing the org structure will not help you. It's all about the mindset. It's all about technology people, especially the CIOs, Ali, like you, thinking themselves as a business leader. Because as we see ourselves as technology leaders, you'll be very little efficient and contribution. But as you see, hang on a minute, I'm also a business leader and my team are business people. We have the equal right to say what to do here, where to invest. It's not business's money, it's our money. Actually, it's customers' money. It's our social responsibility to get that money in the best way. And we all have the equal right, but also responsibility to identify what to do and how to do it. So leadership perspective, we have to promote ourselves. Because if you don't respect yourself and you don't act like a business leader, you can't expect anyone to respect you, anyone to look you as a business leader. This applies to any function. You might work in the finance, people function, legal, doesn't matter. It's the same mentality. Do I care? Do I understand the game here? And what will my contribution based on my expertise here? So these are my views.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. In an organization, particularly at your senior level, you're always competing. You have competing interests all the time. There is, you have shareholders in most organizations. You have board, you have management, you have customers, and then you have technology innovation. You have yourself who has a particular technology target for the organization. I want the technology being delivered to be at this level or whatever it is. But the interests of each of these counterparties may not always align.
Yeah.
So how do you go about managing those interests and managing those priorities as well?
Sure. Look, it is all about really communicating well between these conflicting expectations and in a way articulating that people can make choices. It's not about I can do this or you want this, and I don't know what. It's more you to be in the center of this request as a technology leader and a department saying that, look, regulator wants this. I understand customers expecting that and our board is expecting that, but here are the problems from the regulation perspective. We can't do all of these things.
Yeah.
However, here the trade-off. That will help our customers and company without compromising our compliance position. So this is coming to the understanding the full picture, able to put trade-offs in a meaningful way, not a technology language, with the reasons. Because actually, everybody wants a good thing. Regulator, they are there for a good reason, actually, to protect the community, protect the consumers, etc. Board here to protect the company's interests. And you also need to look after your customers. If they don't look after you, there's no business anyways. So in reality, there shouldn't be a lot of conflict. But it looks like a conflict or a conflict in the priorities. Because you have to address all of them, but maybe you can't do all at the same time. It's all about how to think the big picture, put options on the table so that people say, yep, I understand that. We have to do this because the compliance requirement. Then we have to do this because customers and the market expecting that. Then I'll focus on that one last. Because if I fail in the first two, I'll fail on my third objective anyways. It's all about storytelling, understanding the priorities and putting options on the table. You know why boards and execs really frustrated with technology? Most of the time, they don't understand what they are saying. They don't see an option here. All they see is you can do this, you can do this, or I want 10 million. Otherwise, we all will be dying if you don't invest in that. Not really an option. As you address that and a more meaningful conversations, it's easier. So I don't believe there'll be huge conflict. It's more about how to articulate that and how to put options.
Technology is ever evolving. Right? Technology is not the same as it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, even 1 year ago. The technology advances super, super fast. So how does it work with you at a company? Do you just knock on the CEO's door and be like, hey man, technology evolved. What we have now is out of date. We need to bring more things.
Yeah.
Because that's the challenge I face as well. Like as the company, because we look at you like, all right, there's new technology, there's new this, there's new that, there's new things to connect everything. It's got to continuously ever evolve. And so how hard is it, or how difficult the challenges that you face when technology is continuously evolving and you got to always bring these changes?
Yes.
And then what we mentioned before, and then you got the teams, the other workers adapting to new tech all the time. Does it get too much, or how's that?
It's
Explain
too
that.
much.
Yeah.
And it has been killing me.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
And look, you can imagine my inbox, as well as my phone, as well as my LinkedIn account, every day.
Yeah.
Every single day, over 20 companies, and every day, trying to reach out to me to introduce a new technology or a new service or new innovation they brought. You don't even time to read briefly what they develop, what is their offering. So you have to have mechanisms like how to filter noise versus something might be really meaningful to your services. So it comes to creating some mechanisms, a team, some capacity to have a look quickly and quickly identify, I think this is relevant. This might make a difference. Then you dig down that specific opportunity. Because otherwise, the other option is close your eye, all of them, and you keep missing opportunities. Maybe like there's a brilliant solution for you, but you miss it because of another 100 in the same week came. So that's, I think, the triage capability the IT department should create, have a look. The second aspect is, even you have 10, 20 brilliant ideas come, how to integrate them, like how to get in your platform.
Yeah.
So it comes to have a flexible architecture you have. Because whatever you do today, if it's a closed architecture means you can easily integrate other systems, other solutions to that one, then it became a legacy. then you have to spend a lot of money to replace it, or significant integration kind of cost and effort and the clumsiness around it. It's not good. And this is what's the big organizations suffering. Like, look at the banks. Big like worldwide manufacturing, they have huge legacies. It's extremely hard to move away what they have, and extremely hard to add new technologies
100%.
to do that. This is why they have thousands of people in technology, not necessarily producing that much work, but dealing with those legacy situations. So I think every company should really look, what is my core capability that I need significant flexibility to able to add on new features when a new AI functionality came, a new service offering came, how can I integrate easily? So re-architecture as an open architecture, which we call API-driven or some other ways of creating an open architecture, I think that's extremely critical. Then your triage to identifying which is real, and your governance, your operating model able to test them quickly. Rather than a big project, all right, I'll test in my next release and see it's working, how it's delivering, it's performing exactly, then yes, I want to do more, or I'm killing it.
Can you really
It didn't work.
future-proof technology though?
Look, it's really hard because of things changing so fast. Whatever
That's the
you do
thing.
today, being very
redundant.
irrelevant.
Yeah.
You can only try to have the most flexible thing.
Yeah.
If you look at today's world, what matters? Two things. One is speed. How quickly you are responding to the market demand. Like a war came, nobody was expecting Russia, Ukraine at this level. And then the gas and electricity crisis over there. And then supply chain problems to COVID. Like, who was expecting that? Working remotely, lockdowns, and the supply chain problems, etc. Which companies won and grow? The ones has adaptability, able to respond back very, very quickly. So it's not just technology, the whole organization. Can we adapt? Can we implement? Or can we find an alternative way when we have a crisis? And even the risk management change in the organizations. In the past, people put very traditional risk categories. Now people think that, you know what, anything can go wrong. My main supply might be completely stopping. What I will do if I don't get my material, if I'm a manufacturing company, or if I'm relying on talent, I'm a software company, and what COVID did, it makes so important the digital capabilities for any company, and everyone start investing 3 to 5 times more. So suddenly suck up all the resource available in the market. And in Australia, no migration 2 years, which we have 125,000 skilled migration coming. So 2 years, it add up 250,000 skill gap in terms of the talent. Then demand increase 5 times, huge gap. Which comes to another aspect of speed and innovation, your partners. Who are your strategic partners? Have you able to create them? Have you able to scale up through them? Rather than a transactional vendor-company relationship. Even the companies in India, nowadays struggling. We have been using a lot of them, still in Bupa, and I've been in India multiple times. Even India is so large in terms of the workforce and so many universities, those companies created their own universities in their campuses. Like the Cognizant, one of the company, it's even small compared to others. And that year, when I was there, I asked them, how many people you got this year? They said 100,000 people. Think about each day, how many people starting.
Yeah.
Where are you getting these people? And they took me their campus and showed me their universities, how they are studying these people and then using them internship within the actual work. And when they finish, they are ready to start day one. It's not a theoric training. Okay, this is the group for security. This is the group for data. This is the group for this part of digital. This is the group for XYZ, whatever it is. So a very targeted study and very targeted workforce, they're immediately available. But even then, because I work with them very closely the last 2 years, because of the increasing demand in the market, they are really struggling to get the talent. My friends in Turkey calling me that they are getting so much demand from Europe for their software development projects. One of them called me that, Sami, a German group asking me 3,000 developers. I said, even I collect all of them, there are not 3,000 people available in the whole market. How come? So we also have to think, what's our alternative sources for our main input points, either people or energy or whatever it is, based on your company, thinking the risk, if it's not happening as you need, then how you'll address that. Which will come to another aspect of leadership for your original question, Emil, is these CIO roles, is actually not just managing technology. Yes, you are responsible from technology, but actually, either you are a CFO, you're a CIO, or CEO, whatever, you are actually managing people. You are leading people because your people deliver for you. As you create the right environment, right atmosphere, right culture, as you're able to attract talent and retain talent, they will do the magic for you. As you fail on the people side, you will fail. Whatever you are doing, automotive, technology, whatever it is. And most of the leaders, unfortunately, not equipped well on the people leadership side because they were great in their domain, a great finance guy, great technology guy, promoted those roles, and they miserably failed on delivery. And people say, what's happening? This guy was brilliant on tech or finance or other aspect. Because those people doesn't know how to inspire people, how to get people to work together, deliver the best outcomes, how to engage partners, vendors, even them to be part of the team actually, because they will deliver together. So this is why leaders and the organization should really invest the people skills, the soft skills, because as they uplift that part, they will deliver better. That's a very, very important aspect of leadership.
A part about your portfolio and your journey that interests me a lot is that you have this unique connection between health and technology, right?
Yes.
Which is really innovative. But in this space, there's a lot of disruption coming through. Now, you're a leader in this space. What could you give us some examples of some disruptive technology that you see is on the shore, is about to come in, that will revolutionize the tech health, that nexus?
Yeah. Look, because of it's not common yet, we don't see. But actually, most of the innovation happening in the health tech area in the recent years. The reason for it, we have now better sensors. So real-time sensing your heartbeat, your blood pressure, and other things, and also significant data analytics skills and the AI and machine learning technologies able to test your data against your demographics. If you are at the age of 40 and this is your lifestyle, how your heart works, this is the risk for a heart attack soon, or this is what you need to do. Or if I give another example, in our optical stores in Bupa, we find the technology, Eye Inspect. It's a photograph machine in a way, changing the photograph of the backside of your retina. It's part of the normal eye check. And that compared with 10 plus million pictures, and it identify that you couldn't identify with your own naked eye, some dots and some changes in your veins tell that actually cancer developing in your body, diabetes is coming, heart disease is coming. It can identify at the moment 27 and very near future it will be more diseases developing in your body. No other way to identify, or very expensively X-rays, CT scans, blood tests will take a long time. But a test in 5 minutes identify those things. That's the innovation. And we find that many of our customers developing cancer, diabetes, they have no idea that was happening at the time. These watches, smart watches, and all the other sensors, which we use one of them in our aged care homes, that was part of my award actually, sensing if the individual is on the bed or not. So rather than nurses walking through and checking people, immediately alerted that someone leaving the bed, as well as monitoring the heartbeat and many other aspects and alerting the nurse that something happening with this individual, take action. And in health, sometimes seconds are important to save a life, as well as identifying something early. Like you might be, let's say, 30, you play soccer and things, you don't even feel you have a problem, but maybe something happened in your body. You haven't get the symptoms yet. But as you have these sensors and the data coming back and the smart technologies identifying what might be wrong for you, can save your life for us to be living healthier and
AI,
longer.
right?
Yeah, AI is one of them. AI is just a software, really, in a nutshell. Comparing the data and all the statistics as well as the current data and tell you to predict what will happen next and offer you something.
Yeah. You mentioned about the smartwatches and data. We now have more data about our health than we ever have in history. Like
Yes.
you can tell how much, I don't know, what blood cells are going through your body. You can tell amazing things about yourself. But we still see that the level of cancer cardiac issues and whatnot are historically high as well.
Yes.
So is it because we're not getting the right data, or we're not interpreting that data for the right reasons, or where is that disconnect? Because you can't have both things,
At the same
peaking
time.
at the same
How
time.
it's happening.
Yeah.
Look, I think two things happening here. One thing is our lifestyles are much more stressful. We are moving less, stressing more. We are eating less healthier. Most of them, the food we think we are eating healthy is actually chemicals and some other aspects. So
Processed.
first of all, the input and the lifestyle creating so much more problems that we didn't have before. The second thing is we are living longer. If you look at the statistics, even in Australia, or if I give an example in Turkey, it's more extreme, it is 7, 8.5, the average age today in Turkey. The highest one in the world is Monaco, 86.5. And
Monaco?
Japan is second,
Wow.
and Australia is third actually, 84.5. But what it brings, people living longer means the diseases comes with the age. Now we see them more because we didn't have that many elderly people living around us. All the Alzheimer, dementia, and other like heart disease, etc., come in place. So this is why you see many things coming compared to the past. But why technology is not able to detect and help them? Because data is not there. I mean, data is everywhere, but it's not connected. It's not in the right hands. Australia tried this national health records and miserably failed actually. Like, who of you has all your health data in somewhere in your health records? So when you go to a GP or you are on a travel, on a holiday, and show the GP over there, it simply not exists. That data is everywhere. And Australia, sadly, has one of the longest duration in terms of identifying what's wrong with you. You are like a ping pong ball. You go to your GP, send a test, come back to the GP, send the specialist ask further test. It takes months to identify what's happening. And sometimes it's too late, actually. Whereas if you have the data, and Turkey did actually really good in this area, there's one government application. It's not perfect yet, but probably one of the best in the world. You have one unique national ID number. So all your health data goes there. So when you get doctor and allow them to reach out that, they can see all your past tests, all your past kind of diagnoses, etc. Much faster way of identifying things. And even in the same application, you can see your real estate, your tax, everything together. Rather than carrying your X-rays with you, your results printed, etc. So unfortunately, data is not there. You're right. If data is there and technology is already there, then the right people able to access that data, then you will get it. But again, why it's not happening? Because trust is not there.
That's true.
People are not trusting where my data will end up. Will it be safe? And you saw the Optus and Medibank, unfortunately, cases. People's most vulnerable information, their health data, their personal identifier, financial data is all over the place. So people naturally nervous, allowing others to reach out their data, which is another showstopper.
That's true.
Maybe I have one last question before we start wrapping things up. I'm going to go back to my first question, that you've dedicated 17 years to Bupa.
Sure.
You put a lot of effort in, you put a lot of work in, and then you finally reached the top in terms of an interim managing director of health services. I think it lasted a few months.
8 months, yeah.
8 months?
Yeah.
And then they hired someone.
Yes.
Someone that's not part of Bupa, never worked with Bupa, not affiliated with Bupa.
Yes.
That took their permanent position, and then you left.
Yes.
Did you leave because you didn't get that role?
No, not necessarily. Look, the situation was that was the MD role available to be a successor for the next Apex CEO, if our CEO ever leaves.
Right.
And the requirement was Bupa wants to get someone with 20 plus years CEO experience in large businesses. Whereas coming from technology, obviously I don't have that 20 plus years CEO experience. But I accepted the role to get the experience for me, but also contribute Bupa from a different role. And I really enjoy my time. I believe I contributed a lot. Team really liked my style, and the stakeholders. I was dealing with the top generals, admirals in Army, because we serve Army, Navy, Air Force, Department of Home Affairs, Immigration, to do health check on behalf of government. the dental practices, optical stores, digital health. It's like 7,000 people. I was managing over $1 billion revenue, 5 large businesses, and I love it. And I learned a lot, and that was my objective.
Yeah.
And I knew that someone will come to the role one day. I'll return back. So when Bupa found someone, and now it's my time to make an important decision. Do I want to go back and doing the same thing after 17 years and the last 7 years in the CIO, or do I want to keep my learning further in different organizations? And I thought it's also fair for Bupa, me to leave and a fresh eye to come and take it from where I left to the next step. Because I already did my best based on my observations, and change is always good, actually. I'm really energized. Like, I'm emotional leaving Bupa because I have so much memories, and I like so much connected with the company, its people. 20 years of my Australian life, 17 years with Bupa, that means all my friendships and all my connections. But on the other hand, as I said, it's the opportunity of a new starting, new connections, and me to contribute to the world in a different setup. So yeah, I'm
what does the future
happily
hold?
and proudly leaving Bupa.
Yeah.
What does the future hold? Where are you going from here?
Look, I don't know yet. I will give a break, rest a little bit, because it was very tough, very hard work, many years. Already multiple organizations reach out to me for really top CIO roles or some mid-sized business CEO roles. But I don't want to just jump to the next one, because for me, it's not just a job. I'm a very committed person. I want to get the right one, the right culture, right leadership, the right mission, enough challenge in it, because I know when I start, I'll stick there. So this is why I want to take my time. Some of the consultancy companies want me to join them, the big ones. You can guess who are they. But one thing in my mind also, creating my own business and helping others, because I love helping others. I love creating high-performing teams, designing operating models, helping other leaders to implement the change as we discuss, addressing the gaps they have, supporting them. If I have the courage eventually, I might be doing that next year. But sometimes it's hard to resist maybe something very attractive in front of you as an offer. Yeah. So we will see. I always trust my fate, what the life will bring, and I'll just follow that.
I'm assuming there's really attractive offers.
Look, it's already, but also this is the most that time from the work perspective in Australia. It's Christmas, January. So as I said, multiple organizations connected to me that there are really good roles. They want to talk to me in the new year. I said, yes, let's leave it for the new year. So a couple of them came, but I'm not considering any at the moment. So hopefully I'll have a look in the new year.
It's exciting to see where you're going to go.
Yeah.
I'm sure your followers on LinkedIn are excited. Where's Sami going? Who's getting this guy? Do you have any last questions?
I have one last one for you.
Sure.
And this is, again, I'll probably get in trouble for saying this against all the GPs out there, but one of the biggest pet peeves that I have, and I think most people have with general practice in Australia, is that you go to a GP, as you're speaking to them about your symptoms, what are they doing? They're typing into some particular system, and that system, I'm assuming, spits out a diagnosis and says, this person has this thing, okay? From my perspective.
Very, very rarely.
Very
unfortunately.
Is there not a way that we can create some form of AI or decisioning engine or something like that where, because we have it for everything else. We have it for our banking, we have it for lending, we have it for, we're in finance. In finance, everything is sort of a user interaction type thing. You know, you don't necessarily have to speak to a human being to get an outcome. You can have robo advice. You can have all these different things in place. For health, can we not, for that first layer of healthcare, obviously you have your specialists and all that, they have their place there. But for your entry level, you know, just I have a sore throat, what can I do about it? Because these days people go to GP, they put stress on the general practice system over here. General practice is now charging you for those visits as well. Is there not a way that technology can come in and solve that? Because that's a big part of the healthcare strain in Australia.
It is. And there was a conference organized by the Royal College of GPs 2 months ago, and they identify in 3 years' time we'll have a 22,000 GPs shortage in Australia. It's already hard getting an appointment as you need. Look, those technologies exist even today, but it's not one technology doing everything end-to-end by itself, but hundreds of innovation are there. There are technologies taking a picture of your skin and identifying if it's skin cancer or a rash or eczema or other things developing and tell you straightforward. In the radiology, diagnosis, actually today, it's better than a radiologist to tell what's wrong or able to see it, immediately identifying a cancer case or other things. But legislation does not allowing that AI to put the diagnosis and then you get your treatment accordingly. You still need a specialist to say, yes, I agree with this view, so that I can write a Medicare-supported medication or treatment or whatever it is. Same for the GPs. There are lots of supporting technologies, and I think that's the right way because these people have so many years of experience and education. These machines and technologies are not there yet for the 100% accuracy. And also, if they are wrong, who you will keep accountable for it? Because you'll get maybe the wrong medicine, more treatment, and you might be losing your life because you're on the road path. So you still have to rely on an expert. So it is there, and I believe very soon they will get more and more together part of your GP's kind of patient management system to support them for better decisions, and also the data accessible by specialists and the broader group so that they can see the big picture and make a better call about what's that. So it is coming. It is coming. So much innovation. It's just not there yet.
Okay.
But again, the ultimate accountability is your GP or your specialist in this area.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
and some also, we
That's
still
it.
need GPs.
Still
right?
need
You can't
GPs.
make them redundant just yet.
No, that's
Yeah.
not the plan. They're good people.
Yeah.
22,000 shortage though, your daughters get them on
Yeah.
top.
It is, isn't it? Maybe one thing I haven't mentioned that I want to really say this is we talk about the company's resilience, innovation and all the other aspects of getting the best outcomes. One thing comes in place in leadership or organizations, especially the COVID bring this, is the resilience. How to keep your personal resilience under these really tough conditions, either as an organization or as a leader or as a department. That's extremely important, like keeping your mental health strong, keeping yourself in the positive side of how you feel about the environment, not stressing, and able to support each other is extremely important. The organizations and the leaders will survive and being successful who are the most resilient ones. So this is why the human aspect is very, very important, even to attract and retain talent, because now they have so many choices. People can easily change jobs, especially in Australia. It's not a problem at all finding a good job. It's more for organizations able to get them and keep them is important. So this is why the leaders has creating a good culture, supporting their people, organizations caring about their people, and a genuine care, either as a leader or an organization, and people see that how genuine is that care, then they will stick with you. And you to be positive, you to be supporting people around, which comes to the empathy, understanding people, why people stressing, what might be their concerns exactly is extremely important. So my humble recommendation to people that do not ignore that part. Of course, you'll focus on technology or your domain it is, but if you forget this human side of your job, you will still fail. And you wouldn't even know why you are failing. So that part is important. In my journey, Ali, you asked in the beginning, my childhood and other things, I think my resilience and able to keep positive and not giving up and keep working hard to get what I need was my simple formula, how to survive under this really tough ambiguity and really, really difficult situations.
100%. That's great advice. Mental health,
strong message.
COVID. Especially as a leader, if you're flat, your team could see that, and then it affects them as well. So it's good to be strong. But this brings us to our last segment, Sami Abi.
Sure.
And the way we end the podcast is I ask 10 rapid fire questions,
Sure.
and you could take as long or as slow as you want to answer them,
Sure.
depending on how fast you want
I'll
to get
try
home.
to be quick, yeah.
But if you're ready, we could get the ball rolling.
Please.
First question, because you're Turkish, I have to ask this. How do you like your kebab?
I love it. I love
How do
my
you-
meat.
what do you put in it?
What I
in your
put in
dinner?
it, lots of spices. I love hot.
Yeah.
Based on the region I'm coming from.
Yeah.
I love it. It's hot and spicy.
It makes you sweat hot.
Yes, absolutely.
No, 100%,
I love it.
100%. And the second question will be, what's your favorite food?
I love the veggies and meat together, like
Okay.
eggplant kebab. I love turlu for people is a mix of veggies and meat at the oven.
Like the patlıcan kebab.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
done right.
absolutely. So those are my favorites.
Yeah. Favorite Turkish city?
City.
Yeah.
I love everywhere in Turkey. Istanbul is where is my heart is. It's a mixture of the cultures. So 600 years Ottoman and 500 is Byzantine capital, and where the cultures meet and so much cultural things and natural beauty. I love Istanbul, but it's also hard to live. I'm also acknowledging that.
100%. Most underrated technology?
Oh, look, I don't really know. I think the people in the operations does a lot of hard work. It's like a underground infrastructure. No one ever appreciated when things working. Because you don't see it, you don't touch it.
people.
You also only see these shiny technologies over there. You touch it, but those ones you don't. You only remember them with frustration because it's not working.
Things don't work.
So I think these are the ones.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's being even more invisible because of the cloud technologies and so many things delivered so seamlessly. You just use your phone to reach out an application, but you don't know what's happening behind the scene. I think they are the underrated ones, whereas they are foundational for success and the service.
Yeah.
Do you have a technology hero? Someone that you look up to? Like Elon Musk or
Look,
someone better?
I think they all have, not from the personal perspective, I can confirm that based on some of the behaviors we are seeing. But I admire, one is the vision they have.
Yeah.
Like, how come you even think that's possible when they start that journey? And the second is the courage they have. So I admire many of those people, including Elon Musk or in the past Bill Gates, etc. The vision, but also the courage to go there and doing that like something. And this again another aspect of the leadership, like seeing what's possible and the courage to go for it. So I have many, not one.
Your favorite superhero?
Superhero. I used to love Kızıl Maske. I don't know what we call in English, the guy with a mask and doing all the magical stuff behind the scene, which lives in the forest and invisibly go and doing the good stuff for people. I think they're all good in a way.
Reza knows what it is. Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
It's not, but that's okay. It's
Close
close enough.
equivalent.
It's close enough. Yeah.
That was a flop, Reza.
I love them.
Yeah.
Watching
What
them.
do you think is the key to living a good life?
I think it's just how you look at life and following your passion and picking to be happy. Because I don't think there is one thing applies everyone, because everyone's formula is different. What will make them happy? It's. I think it's more of you to discover what it is for you, what kind of life will make you happy, and you to do it. Because what we do, we get an education or get a skill, and we start earning our life through that, and we feel like prisoner because this is what can I do to earn my life, and you just live like that based on what that work brings you, but you are not actually happy. Whereas you can actually pick your happy life scenario and find a way to earn your life as well. It's possible, but very few people actually first identify what it is, and secondly have courage to do that change.
100%. Is there a quote that resonates with you?
Look, there are multiple things linked to the caring, and lots of hadith around it. But the other thing which is driving me doing the good things is Rasulullah said that when one of you do something, do it in the best way. Because you're already doing it, you're already spending time. Then why you wouldn't do it in the best way? Why you wouldn't be the best person, whatever the domain you are in? So that resonates me, and that's always drives me. What else I can do? How can I improve this? Because you want to be proud of what you are doing with your contribution. And we all have a responsibility, like a personal responsibility based on the health we have given, skills, intelligence, and there should be a return back to community. And it should be the best way, because when you go a company to get service, you expect the best from them. Why you wouldn't do the same thing?
100%. What motivates you the most?
Seeing people's happiness and their smiling faces. I love making people happy, not for their unreasonable requests or things, but for like able to help them really, able to sort out their problems, either people in the community, elderly people, my customers, people working for me, my colleagues. I think seeing people happy and me to feel that, yes, I made a positive difference in their lives, that's what makes me happy. And while I was very emotional leaving Bupa, the messages I get either on LinkedIn or personal messages, like I literally receive hundreds of them. And people telling me that, look, you wouldn't remember that, but at that hard time, you gave me this advice and you gave me this support. And this really now make me as a better person, better leader, or I achieved this, or even my marriage is better because of that. And that's what makes me happy.
That's beautiful. Last question. What advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
Probably just being even more courageous than today. Like even I did many things you will call it's courageous. I always feel that, you know what? If I was even more courageous, I would be able to do more. Maybe creating my own company much earlier and following my dream. And maybe I might be one of those leaders we are admiring today, the tech leaders or others. Probably that would be my advice to myself, which means my brothers, sisters here, like just follow your passion. If it's failed, it fails. Doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. But just do it and never be regret not doing that.
No, that's great advice. Yeah. Just go for it. Everyone preaches that now. Just go for it. Just follow your passion. Go for it. But on that note, look, Sami, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. And
thank you.
On behalf of everyone, your followers and everyone, and we're hoping the next chapter you embark on is a rock star chapter, because
I hope so.
This is the first time meeting you. I've been following you. As a company, we've been following you for a while on LinkedIn.
Sure.
And seeing how much love and support you get just shows that this guy must be such a nice guy. And meeting you, like, you haven't stopped smiling since you've come into the office.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's so nice.
It's infectious.
It's infectious. I'm just looking at him, I'm like, man, can you be my manager? It's the vibes you give is absolutely incredible. Yeah. And it's been an absolute pleasure.
Likewise. Thank you very much for having me. I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for the opportunity to share my views. And I hope people find this useful and fun as well. Yeah. And hope to see you all around.
Thank you so much, Sami.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.